Namaste and welcome, my dear yogi friends. Quite a brief practice today at around 30 minutes, but fantastic that we can do this together and still get a practice in even when the day is quite busy or you simply just don't have the energy to give. I'm glad that you're here. I very much appreciate your support, so every subscription really does count. Thank you so much. Let us start, shall we? Enough of this. Let's get into a seated position. I'll meet you there. Shutting down the eyes as you find your comfortable seated position. Start to become much more aware of the body on a sensory level. So you're starting to tune into the feeling of the body. And it really requires no description, no analysis, no processing. We leave aside any sense of good or bad, should, could or would. These all start to dissolve into insignificance and simply become attentive to what's happening now with an allowing of whatever state that you might be in, whether that's physical, mental, emotional or energetic. In this process, less obligation, less responsibility of things to do with the outside world, and that includes on a mental level. We start to take more responsibility and become accountable for our own sense of well-being. Here, by beginning with what's important and embodying a sense of listening. It'll be impossible to find out how to adapt and how to behave in a response that's best for your sense of well-being without that sense of listening. So here, receptivity. And in that, starting to focus your attention towards your breath. We start to use the breath as a tangible means of anchoring attention to the body. And then go ahead and start to deepen your breath, breathing down to the belly space, breathing out a little bit more slowly. And it's through this pattern of breathing that you can start to supply the body with a very literal sense of well-being through your breathing. So as you slow down the breath, it triggers the nervous system and therefore the brain to respond a lot more kind of compassionately towards the body in a sense of homeostasis. It begins to create a sense of repair, and in that a sense of rest. And so slowing the breath rate, slowing the heart rate, directly influencing the efficiency of the body in terms of oxygenation in your tissues. I want to keep this depth and rhythm of breath going throughout the entire practice. And here, just add one extra layer. Start to make the breath smooth. So you're going to have to listen a little bit more closely and feel the movement of the breath in every single little moment that it's passing by. Smooth breath. And see if we can continue to cultivate this smoothness as we begin to move the body. Start to blink open your eyes and roll over the knees and come straight into cat-cow. Now you might keep the eyes fairly soft here for cat-cow, but let your breath take control over the rhythm of the movement. So as you inhale, dip the belly down. As you exhale, raise and arch up through the spine. And that's how you carry on. The breath leads the pacing. It leads the way for the body to unfold. You're not trying to find maximum sensation in the movements or the postures. but rather a kind of gentle rhythm and flow. There's an adaptability to how you're responding to the state of the body as you go along. So awareness is obviously a critical aspect of the practice to take care of the body. And on the other end of that scale, it allows us to recognize when we're ready for a challenge and to maybe push a little harder. Let's take one more round now, dip to the arch. And from there, go ahead and tuck the toes to lift up the hips into downward facing dog. We're making a little bit of movement there in down dog, pedaling out. Just a breath or two more here. Next inhale, come into high plank, bring shoulders above your wrists. Send your butt back into down dog and just do that 2 more times. High plank brings you forward. Exhale back to dog. Now this time come into high plank and lower down through chaturanga until you're flat. Take the hands off the side of the mat, lift the chest into cobra. Lower back down and carry on with your own rhythm of breath. Lifting the chest, lowering gently and slowly so the back body muscles have to work a little harder. And you take maybe just 2 more rounds. Keep the glutes, your butt cheeks squeezing to control the lowering down just for 1 more round. Coming back down and pushing back through to tabletop, all fours. Pausing there for just a moment, raise the left arm up towards the ceiling and thread the left arm underneath the right armpit. Take this into a half bind, wrapping the right arm behind the lower back. Turning back the shoulder here, just for 2 more breaths. Little tricky here, keep the half bind, sit your butt down towards your heels and raise the left arm up towards the ceiling into a kneeling position and then into a twist. So take the left hand and catch your right thigh. 2 more breaths here, rolling back your right shoulder. Keep your left hand on the thigh, raise your right arm that's behind your lower back up towards the ceiling and into a nice big side bend here. Just 2 breaths. Arms back up through center, back onto tabletop, all fours. Raise the right arm up straight away, threading it underneath the left armpit. Under, half bind, wrap up the left arm. 2 breaths-ish here, rolling back the shoulder. It's a bit of a tricky transition really. Sitting the butt down into the heels, raising up the chest, arm up and then twist. Catching the thigh, turning back the shoulder. 2 breaths here. Keep the hand on the thigh, raise the left arm up and into a side bend. A couple of expansive breaths here. And raising both arms up to come back into downward facing dog. Place the palms, tuck the toes, lift the hips. And now taking a nice easy walk towards the top of the mat. Feet towards your hands. Bend the knees and immediately roll up the spine through to standing. Reach up and stretch up at the top nice and high. And catching the hands now behind the lower back. Roll back the shoulders and fold forward gently. Big bend in the knees as you're coming down. A couple of breaths here. Playing a nice easy rhythm on the breath. And release. Hands to the floor. Step back to plank position and hold there. Take the feet just a little bit wider than what they are. Drop the heels over to the left so the feet are staggered. Take 1 breath here. Come back up through the center and over to the other side. Stay for the exhalation. Back through the center now, over to the left 1 more time and raise the right hand up. Big breath. Switch, right hand comes down, heels turn over, left hand up, switch, and left hand down. With the knees or not, lower down through chaturanga until you're flat. And just once now, lift the chest as high as you can. Lower back down, send the butt back to tabletop and into downward facing dog. As soon as you're there, walking up to the top of the mat, feet towards the hands. Halfway lift, fold back in, stand all the way up with a little back bend now, squeeze your butt, and exhale to fold all the way back down. Take a halfway lift, step your left foot back into runner's lunge, puff the chest on fingertips, and then gently straightening through the front leg to fold into pyramid. Just one more of those. Lunge, bend the front knee, gentle on the front leg as you fold, and now we'll add a little bit more to that. As you lunge, reach the right hand forward and up, and go slow on this one. Reach it back towards the back of the mat, straightening through the front leg into pyramid, and then sweep the hand down as you bend the knee. Full rotation on the arm, reaching up, back, circling as you straighten through the front leg, and just like that. Circling the arm, straightening and bending through the knee, but really try and match your breath rate with your movement rate. So you're full of breath at the top of 12 o'clock, you're empty of breath as the hand comes down to 6 o'clock. Just take 2 more rounds now. Get a bit of movement going. Good. Next time you lunge, drop your back knee down, raise both arms up, and twist the other way. So right hand forward, left hand back. Flip the front palm and reach up and back. Squeeze your left butt cheek here. Keep the chest lifting. Front knee isn't collapsing. Keep it out a little bit. Just a breath or 2 more here. And as you bring the hands down inside your right foot, turn your back shin so you face the left-hand side of the mat. Raise your arms up. Straighten through the front leg and adjust it. Raise up the arms, gate pose. Right hand to right knee. Left hand up and over, reaching for the top of the mat. 3 big breaths here. Squeezing the butt to press the pelvis forward and leaning back on the top shoulder. 1 more long breath here. Lift the chest, bring the left hand down to the back of the mat. You might lose me on camera, that's all right. Spin the right toes down, listen to my voice. Lift your left knee off the floor, tap the knee into the elbow and hold for a moment. 1 big breath here. And then flip this into wild thing. Right hand comes down, turn the left leg over the right, lift the hips, turn the chest. Big breath here, more. And then 1 big step, left foot up between your hands to the back of the mat. Now stick with me here. Puff the chest out on fingertips. Straighten through your front leg to fold. Inhale, bend the front knee, the left knee now. Exhale to fold and straighten through the leg. Just like the other end of the mat, we're getting straight into it. Bend the front knee. Reach the left hand forward and up. Reach it back as you straighten through the front leg and then down. Keep on going. So full rotation of the arm, straightening and bending through the knee. We've done this before at the other end of the mat. Making good use of the time here. Sort of incorporating both sides of the body movement. Nice and efficient. So keep the breath efficient. Quality over quantity here. Full of breath at 12, empty of breath at 6. We're getting a nice little pace going here. Get some real heat through the leg, the shoulder, the communication of upper body and lower body together. 1 more full rotation, up, back, down, bend the front knee, drop the back knee now. You're still facing the back of the mat. Arms up, low lunge, and left hand forward, right hand back to open. Lift the left hand up towards the ceiling. Squeeze your right butt cheek. Take breath here. 2, maybe 3 more. Lifting the right side of your chest up here. And hands down inside your front foot or your left foot here. Turning your right shin, so you're now facing again to the side of the mat, right where we were before. Arms up. Left hand to left knee. Right hand reaching up and over, and again there's that little feeling of pressing the pelvis forward, yet leaning the right shoulder back. 2 more breaths here. Good, inhale, lifting up. Bring the right hand down to the original top of the mat. Left toes ground down. Here we go. Pick up your right knee, hug it in towards the elbow and hold for a moment or two. Keep the knee in, flip this into wild thing. Left hand down, turn the right leg over, turning the hips, lifting the chest. A breath or two more here. And then one big step, right foot up between the hands, followed by the left foot immediately. Step all the way up. Halfway lift, flatten out your back. Fold in. Inhale, stand up, and finally we'll take a Vinyasa Flow. Reach up, exhale to fold forward, hands to the ground. Halfway lift, step or jump back into Chaturanga. Up dog, pull the chest through the arms, and into downward facing dog to lift the hips. Straight away, right leg raises up, bend at the knee, peel the hip up and open. Step the foot in between the hands for Crescent Lunge, arms up. Exhale, left hand forward, right hand back, take a twist. Flip the front palm, reach up and back, reverse the shape. At the top here, straighten through the front leg and reach a little higher, longer. Big breath at the top. And then re-bend the front knee to hook your left elbow around the leg, hands come together. Now back leg becomes nice and firm, nice and strong here. 2, maybe 3 breaths. One more generous breath now. Very gently into Warrior 2. My suggestion, hands to the floor, spin the back heel down, windmill the arms up and open, straighten through the front leg and reach up and back. And now as you reach forward, find triangle. So take the front knee just off lock, reach out, bring the right hand to the shin, squeeze your left glute, your butt cheek, as you really roll back the left shoulder here. We'll try and take 3 more breaths in this shape now. A little interesting on the transition here. Bring the left hand down to the floor and turn to your left into Skandasana, to the back of the mat. Bow in the chest, sweeping the chest through to Skandasana, half squat at the back of the mat. 1 or 2 breaths here as the chest lifts. And then back into Warrior 2 at the top of your mat. Re-bend the front knee, windmill the arms up and open. Hopefully the back foot turns in. Front palm reaches up and back. And then into side angle. Bring the right hand down inside the foot. Left arm, top arm wrapping behind the lower back. 2, maybe 3 long breaths here. Good, and very slowly bringing the left hand down to the floor. Again, Skandasana at the back of the mat. Drop your butt to your left heel. Chest lifts up here. 2 big breaths. And switching to the other end now. Drop your butt to your right heel. Be gentle on this side, especially on your inner left leg. So maybe keep the hands down if you like to. We take just a breath or 2 more. A nice little transition here. Walk the hands to the back of the mat into runner's lunge, immediately finding simple twist, left hand up, and straight into wild thing. Step the left leg over the right leg. Lift the hips here. 2 more long breaths now. And now slowly find side plank. So a little tricky on the transition. Stack the legs up, look to the side, and then switch this over. Left hand down, right hand comes up. Lift your right leg away from the left one. A little starfish shape. Draw your right knee in towards the chest. And in one step, place the right foot between your hands at the back of the mat. Crescent lunge, arms up. Exhale through to arrowhead. We're definitely using the back of the mat today. Hands to prayer, Warrior 3. Launch off the back leg. Pushing into the front foot, or the right foot now, a breath or 2 more. Very short hold here for just 1 more breath, T shape with the body. And as you step your left foot down, hands down, runner's lunge, shoot your right leg up into 3-leg dog, walk the hands back towards your left foot, and as soon as you arrive, curl your right knee up in towards your chest, Come on up with it, hug it in towards the belly, and then find figure 4. So place the right ankle on the left knee, sitting the butt down. Sitting nice and low into the shape here. Now if you can, challenge your balance a little here by interlacing your hands behind the lower back. Roll back the shoulders and think about bringing the chest down to the thigh, down to the shin rather, and lifting the hands as you soften a little through the neck. 2 more big breaths, big hip opener shape. And standing up, hands to prayer, knee to the chest, hug it in. Now a little tricky here. Standing splits, hands to the ground, right leg pokes up. Coming to seated twist, right knee outside your left ankle. Sit the butt down nice and low, all the way to the floor in fact. Arms up, left hand behind the lower back, right elbow hooks around the knee to twist deeply. 2 big breaths here. Counter twist to the other side, hands down to the floor. Pivot, rotate back to the top of the mat into a squat. So hopefully you wound your way out of there, okay? Chest up, hands to prayer. A breath or 2 more here. And you're welcome to take crow through flow by lifting the hips, driving the knees into the upper arms. Now think about closing the gap between your thigh and your ribs. Thigh, ribs, up and in, tight, keep it in. As maybe you shift some body weight forward and lift the feet. And after a breath or 2, chaturanga finds up dog, and up dog finds downward facing dog. But as soon as we're in down dog, we've got to keep moving. Left leg up, inhale. Bend the knee, tilt the hip up and open. And step the foot in between the hands for crescent lunge. Arms up. Right hand forward, left hand back, take a twist. Flip the front palm and reach up and back. And as you bow forward now, hook your right elbow around the leg, hands together. Holding in the twist here. A few gentle and steady breaths. Warrior 2, hands to the floor, back heel down, open the arms, straighten through the front leg and reach up and back. And reaching forward now for triangle. Left hand down, right hand up. Again, back leg is feeling nice and secure, nice and firm. Top shoulder rolling back. Two, maybe 3 more breaths here. As you bring the right shoulder down, collapse the chest and turn to the back of your mat into Skandasana. Sit your butt down to the right heel. Chest up for a moment or 2. And towards the top of the mat, again, warrior 2. Bend the left knee, open the arms, flip the front palm and reach up and back. And then reaching forward for side angle. Left hand down, right arm wrapping behind the lower back. Full bind or half bind here is more than welcome. Just keep the shoulder turning back. Steadying your breathing. Taking 2 or 3 more deep breaths. And once again, hands to the floor, Skandasana at the back of the mat, half squat. Breath here more. And then keep the hips low as you switch to the other end, towards the left heel, chest up. A breath or 2 more there. Now to the back of the mat, runner's lunge. Finds simple twist. Finds wild thing, right foot over the left. Turn the hips, lift the chest. We're a little tricky on the transition here. Stay cool, take breath. Find side plank now. Stack the right leg on top of the left one. Hold. The balance is a little tricky there. And then switch it over. Right hand down. Left hand comes up to side plank on the other side. Once you're there, left leg up. Hug the knee to chest. And step the foot in between the hands. You got it. Arms up, crescent lunge. Exhale through to arrowhead, sweep the arms back. Launch into warrior three, pushing off the back leg, holding in a T shape. 2 to 3 big breaths. And runner's lunge. Step back, hands on the ground, straight into three-leg dog. Left leg up. Walk the hands back towards your right foot. Curl the left knee to your chest, stand up. Stack the left ankle on the right knee and sit the butt down. Maybe you think about interlacing the hands behind your lower back at some point, but take your time. You certainly don't have to. It's, I can feel it right here. Just sort of sitting my butt nice and low, bringing the chest down. Again, doesn't need to be maximum sensation, but just a nice, adaptable kind of response to the state of the body and particular to this moment. No context at any other time you've done this shape, just as it is now. 3 more big breaths. Decent hold here. And as you stand up, hug the left knee to the chest, nice and tight. Bring it up and in. Standing splits, punch the leg up, hands to the floor. Now here's the trickiness. Slide your left knee outside your right ankle as you sit down into seated twist. Hopefully we're there all together. Right hand comes up and then turn it and place it behind the lower back. Left hand raises up. Twist, hook the elbow, chest lifting a little. 2 big breaths here. Sit the right butt cheek down. So try this little bit of funkiness here. Turn to your left, counter twist, hands on the floor, and then pretty much just lift up your butt and hopefully you'll pivot, spin, and land in a squat facing the top of the mat. Chest lifting, belly in. 1 more big breath here. Welcome to take crow through flow, or please go straight through it now. Chaturanga, find up dog, and up dog, find down dog. As soon as you're in down dog, please step to lizard lunge. Right foot outside your right hand. Drop the back knee down and let the front knee fall out to the side. So in this shape, you might think about twisted monkey, grabbing for the back foot, turning back the right shoulder. We're only here for maybe 5, 6, 7 breaths or so, but really slow breaths. Now, if you're in anything like twisted monkey or even just staying in lizard, same dynamics really, sit some weight down into your right butt cheek, onto your right side. So a feeling of drawing both hips down and back. The tendency is to roll over to the left a little bit. Try to keep it relatively even in your weight down through the hips. We'll take 2 more breaths-ish now. And then up into 3-leg dog. Right leg lifts up and up. Wild thing and flip dog are all welcome. Otherwise, very simply, step the foot down and come into the other side. Left leg lifts and stepping the foot outside the left hand to drop the back knee down. And again, your variation on lizard. So lots of places you can go with it. Grabbing the back foot or anything else that feels kind of welcome to the body. It's got to feel welcome to the body. You know, if the body's just resisting and really just fighting physically, that's an indication it's a little deep. Mental resistance is something different, however. That we can work with. That might not be such a true indication of what's going on. So here, again, don't push so hard with the body that the mind starts to jack up. You find a relatively easy place to be. Somewhere where you can breathe deeply. And then let the mind start to settle into the breathing pattern. We've still got a few breaths here. Again, maybe you're sitting some weight into the left butt cheek. next breath or two, a very gentle exit. Coming back into three-legged dog, left leg lifting up and out, bending at the knee, tilting the hip up and open. Flip dog, a wild thing, welcome. Otherwise, drop the foot, drop the knees, take the legs out to the side and extend them out in front of you. Once they're out in front of you, both legs straight, lift the chest, lift the lower back, raise up the arms and fold as far forward as you can. And then release into Paschimottanasana, intense forward fold. So in this shape, there's almost like a second entry into it, lifting a little bit more through the lower back, but then softening through the upper spine a lot more. So the shoulders, the neck, can all soften quite a bit more. And then settling into a very stable breath. Settle into a stable breath, meaning that the pacing is fairly consistent. There's smoothness in the breath. And the mind is happily focused on the rhythm of the breathing. One more breath here. Chest lifts up. Either reverse tabletop or reverse plank. Hands behind the hips, feet on the ground. Roll back the shoulders. Scoop the hips forward and then up to lift. Squeeze the butt, but also suck the belly in. And again, try and squeeze back the shoulders and lift the chest through the shoulders. We'll take two more big breaths. And release, coming down, bringing the feet to touch, knees out to the sides into Badakanasana, interlocking the fingers, lift through the lower back, and then reach the chest forward and then down into the fold. And once you're there, try and squeeze your heels together a little bit. So it's an active Badakanasana, relaxing through the ribs, the shoulders, the jaw. It's actually not that easy, but if you try and squeeze the heels together, try to also relax the belly. It's not so easy to coordinate, but give it a go. Heels, and letting the belly move. Two or three more breaths. Inhale, chest lifts up, draw the knees together, roll down onto your back. As soon as you land on your back, feet on the ground and drop the knees a couple of times from side to side, from left to right. And then placing the feet on the ground for one round of bridge. So tilt the tailbone up and lift up the hips. If you're thinking about going to wheel, you're more than welcome to. Otherwise, squeezing the butt, lifting up the hips, lifting up the back of the heart as well. And holding here with a squeeze in the butt and a suction in the belly. So you're sandwiching your spine between the two. We've still got maybe 3 more breaths here. And on your next exhale, gently release, come on down. Again, you might drop the knees a couple of times from side to side, but as soon as you're ready, wrap your right leg over the left one, drop the legs down to the left into a twist, opening the right shoulder out to the side. Just taking 2 more breaths here, relaxing the shoulders and the belly as much as you can. And back through to center. Left leg wraps over the right one. down to the other side into the twist. Next inhale, coming back up through the center. Hug the knees into the chest. Give yourself a tight little squeeze, or find happy baby, alternatively, grabbing the outer blades of the feet. Now, we're pretty much going to wrap it up here and head towards Shavasana. But I think inversions are a super important part of your practice. So what you might do is just take your legs up a wall or even against the side of your couch, sending the legs up to rest in Shavasana in that inverted shape. But I can't encourage resting enough, especially a few minutes of Shavasana here. Even just a short amount of time is going to be beneficial. Just the gesture is alone enough to say to yourself, yeah, I think it's important that I spend some time with my body every single day, or as often as I can, to just rest. What a beautiful simplicity and a beautiful gift I can give to myself to simply be here with my body, intimate, with no demand upon it, no obligation, no responsibility, apart from my own sense of well-being. And to hold that as a priority in your mind will definitely make this rest a special one. I love you and leave you. I say namaste and sign off here. Your support is always appreciated. I'll see you next time.